Hello everyone, today I have prepared 10 facts about the secret robot in Melon Playground. There will be the most obvious points and details that you might not even guess about. I checked every fact personally in the game, so everything is as honest as possible. Watch the video to the end, because after the 5th fact, the fun begins.
Let's go!
In Melon Playground, the Terminator appears not only from ordinary melon, it can also be made from other fruits and vegetables. If you mix a robot chip with melon corn, melon apple, pumpkin or watermelon, you will get a robot that looks like this fruit. That is, his body will be in the shape of corn or an apple, but inside he is a real robot. This makes the game much more interesting, because you can create an army of robots, and everyone will look their own way. The second fact is that when you first made the robot, it looks like an ordinary fruit or vegetable, but if you throw acid on it, the top layer begins to disappear, and a metal body is visible under it. It looks very cool. First you see a fruit, and then gradually a robot appears. But there is one funny trick. If the acid is not fully used, that is, only part of the fruit layer is removed and the immortality potion is immediately added, the robot remains half fruit and half metal. He looks like he's stuck between two worlds, like a fruit, but already metallic, and at the same time immortal. The third fact is that even if a robot has become immortal and it seems that now it is made of iron forever, it can be turned back into an ordinary melon, but it doesn't become what it was originally. If you throw a robot into a nanoassembler and add some fruit, it will turn into exactly the fruit that you put there. The most interesting thing is that after the transformation, he becomes mortal again. That is, an immortal robot can now be killed like an ordinary melon. It looks very strange and funny, because the robot literally gives up its powers and turns into an ordinary melon. Fourth fact is if you put a can of tomatoes and a robot chip in a nanoassembler, you get tomato melon. If you then throw acid on this robot, the layer disappears. After that, we add a healing potion, and the robot becomes metallic. At the same time, the jar remains on the head, and the most interesting thing is that no damage can be done to this jar. You can't shoot a robot in the head, because the jar protects it. This robot looks unusual and funny. He is both metal and with a jar on his head, and this creates interesting scenes for the game. The fifth fact is that an ordinary melon reacts to commands. If you double-click and select walk, sit or relax, it will immediately begin to perform the action. The robot behaves very differently. He stands still, ignoring all commands. It is difficult to understand why this happens, but there is an interesting theory. Perhaps robots are programmed only for combat, and they do not obey ordinary commands. This shows that the robots in the game are special and act according to their own rules. The sixth fact is that if you take a robot made from a can of tomatoes and hold it in water for a long time or just rinse it in water, a very unusual thing will happen. He begins to gradually change and turns into a completely new character, a strange NPC who is usually not in the game. This robot looks unlike anyone else in the game and becomes the most unique and strange NPC in the game. It's almost like a little magic or mutation. The water kind of reprograms the robot and creates a new character. This is one of the most unusual effects in Melon Playground. You can't help but wonder, what else can happen to robots if you use other fruits or liquids? The seventh fact is that if you throw a robot into the water, the real show begins. He starts tumbling, turning over and doing somersaults in all directions. He's spinning like a little acrobat who can't keep his balance at all, and it looks really funny. It's even more fun to watch it in acceleration. The robot starts spinning very fast, like a toy spinner or a small tornado in the water. The eighth fact is that if you put a fruit, a robot chip and a Monroe bomb in a nanoassembler, a real explosion occurs. And it only works if there is a robot chip. Without it, the result will be different. You'll just get an exploding melon, like in my last video. If you haven't seen it, be sure to take a look. When there is a robot chip, the nanoassembler literally cannot withstand such a combination. An explosion begins inside. All objects mix, sparks, splashes and pieces of fruit fly in all directions, but the robot itself does not appear. It looks very spectacular and unexpected, like a small firework right in the game. The ninth fact is that if you throw several fruits and vegetables into a nanoassembler at once, add a lot of cans of tomatoes and a robot chip, you get a very strange melon robot.
Hello!
This robot is different from all the others. It looks like different paint was accidentally spilled on it. And in his head there are tomatoes, but without a jar, which is very strange. If there are other characters in the frame nearby, the reaction to it looks even funnier, as if they don't understand who is in front of them.
What is that?
And the 10th fact is the most unknown. Almost no one knows him, and many people don't even suspect that such a thing is even possible at Melon Playground. He is related to the strange robot melon that we created in the last fact. When you take this strange melon robot, which turned out to be a mixture of fruits, cans of tomatoes and chips, and pour acid over it from a flask, the acid begins to corrode the fruit and tomato layer, and a metal body appears under it, an ordinary robot body. But the most interesting part starts next. If you use the Regan thermos immediately after the acid, the robot will become completely metal, but its head, the fruit one, will remain. And there is no coincidence here. He always liked exactly the fruits that you put in the nanoassembler when you created this strange robot. Take, for example, an apple. I put it in a nanoassembler, lots of jars, and a chip. I got a strange melon robot with apple slices. After being treated with acid and regenerated, he turned into a real metal Terminator. But he still had an apple-shaped head, and it looks extremely unusual, as if the Iron Terminator was handpicked and accidentally left with its head in the form of a fruit. This robot looks very funny and strange. A powerful metal body that looks dangerous, and at the same time a head made of an apple, or any other fruit that you choose. The 11th bonus fact, which also no one noticed, is related to the strange robot melon, which we make from fruits, cans of tomatoes and a chip. If you put it next to an ordinary melon or even an ordinary robot, you can notice one very interesting thing. It is slightly taller than the others. At first glance, you can't see that he's tall at all, but if you put them all in a line, it becomes immediately apparent. The strange robot melon stands out. It seems to be stretched upwards, or built from longer parts. Because of this, it looks more powerful and even a little funnier. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. I hope you enjoyed these facts about the Terminator at Melon Playground. I tried very hard. I collected all the facts myself, checked them in the game and filmed every moment so that you could see everything accurately and without fiction. Few people know some of these things at all, so it was especially interesting for me to show them to you. If you want more of these videos, write in the comments about which character or secret you want to learn more about. Thanks for watching, you're the best!